Yeah.
exactly. And Garrett, you posted an article on X about this retired LSU mass comm professor, Robert Mann. He was responding to Governor Landry's call to erect a statue of Charlie Kirk on LSU's campus. And that former professor called Charlie a white nationalist, compared him to David Duke. What has been the response at the university, like within the student body, about that kind of remark?
Yeah, I think, and I'll say this: LSU has been the forefront of Louisiana of supporting Charlie after his assassination.
Wow.
And I'll give props to Governor Landry. It's been amazing to see. Um, they are doing some huge things to support and to further his teachings on that campus. So it's really awesome. The students are 100% behind the movement. Obviously, you can't make a sweeping generalization, but I would say easily the majority of the campus would support it and have no problem with it. And I saw an interesting point brought up is why Charlie at why Louisiana State University. And that's a fair point is, what did he do for Louisiana? But I think it's more the fact that it is just a symbol of freedom of speech. It is a symbol of what institution should be. And so to see that from our flagship university in Louisiana, I wouldn't have a problem with it. I wouldn't think many would. And in fact, I think it would be awesome.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I
It'd
think
be
so
nice to
too.
have people like Bob Mann, instead of hiding behind a keyboard and making comments like this, inviting an open and public dialogue at
Yeah, absolutely.
LSU in the spirit of Charlie Kirk. But they won't do that. They're willing to um, aggrandize themselves, indoctrinate impressionable young people, but they're not really willing to put what they say on the line in an open and public and fair debate. I've noticed that. They're basically cowards. They're
Yeah.
cowards who bully students who are there to learn and are uniquely vulnerable. And to me, I find it absolutely despicable. I would have more respect for Bob Mann, despite the vile nature of his opinions, if he would at least be willing to have an open and honest debate about it. But they won't do that.
No, they won't. And you're absolutely right. I would be so much more I would have so much more respect for him if he was, on this call trying to talk about his opinions or what he believed or making any attempt to do so. And it's unfair to the university as well as our state, all the people who pay tuition to go there, because again, it draws an unfair generalization of what the belief is at the university. And like I said, you obviously have those people who want to do the indoctrinating, who are on the bad side, and it's the Robert Manns of Louisiana State who are the problem. But it's not the majority, I'd say, and it is unfair that in a time where there's an attempt to change the narrative, you start seeing these people really try to stick to their guns, and I think that's what it is. There's an obvious sweeping support of Charlie and what he taught generally since everything has happened. And I think it's just a fear thing, is say whatever I can to try to turn everybody off to him as quick as possible. And it really
Yeah.
just turns around to bite you in the butt.
Well, and
Yeah.
Charlie was one of the biggest advocates for not using ad hominem attacks. Right? He wanted the facts were always on his side, and that's what these liberals, not just liberals, but people who want to make these kind of baseless attacks. That's exactly what they're doing. They can't debate because the truth is not on their side. The facts are not on their side. They have nothing to back up any of their statements except for maybe some TikTok videos of other people telling them that very subject.
Yeah, absolutely. You're 100% right. And, especially with things like this, the attacks and how personal they are, and especially what it means to our state, to compare Charlie to somebody who was I'd say, easily a stain on the history of Louisiana, and nobody defends what he taught, or the way he led out his political career. Nobody agrees with that, and I think it is easy to sit here and say we condemn David Duke. At least I do, and I don't Charlie, and I support Charlie 100%. And the teachings are two totally different things. And so to your point, it's hypocritical, it's baseless, it's rude. It really is. It's just a personal attack. It's being a bully.